This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Gipp, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Monday, October 13th, 2025, and here are today's stories. Powerful waves and unpredictable weather are hitting Spain's Canary Islands. See what's driving the sudden change and how it's affecting life along the coast. Greece's shrinking population is raising alarms with one of Europe's lowest fertility rates. What does it mean for the country's future? Spain's billion-dollar sex trade hides a darker side. How trafficking and organized crime make it nearly impossible to protect vulnerable women. In New Jersey, one family-owned Italian bistro has stood the test of time. Discover the secret to keeping customers coming back, even as the restaurant world changes. Laughing gas is becoming the latest drug of choice amongst young people. It sounds harmless, but the risks are real, and the governments are taking notice. Bulgaria's stone forest is filled with massive rock pillars rising from the sand. We'll uncover the science and the mystery behind this strange landscape.
UNN Field Messenger Emma reports from Fuerteventura, Spain, where unusual weather and rough seas have been causing disruption along the coast.
Hi, my name is Emma. I'm a field messenger for United Network News, reporting from Fuerteventura, Spain in Europe. This report is going to be about the crazy weather and the consequences of this shift in weather. These videos are from August 27, 2025. And normally, the end of August and the beginning of September, the wind here on Fuerteventura and the currents and the sea calms down. However, this week the currents and the waves have increased unexpectedly in a very strange way, especially the undercurrents. Here is what the news said. A British flag sailboat, 12 meters in length, around 40 feet, and more than 20 tons of weight. It's like a big African elephant. Ran on August 27 at the Middle Beach in the town of Coralejo, north of Fuerteventura. The event occurred when the boat, which was anchored near the dock, released from its mooring and was dragged by the current until it was stranded on the coast. The scene did not go unnoticed. Both neighbors and tourists who were in the area approached the place. Despite the efforts deployed to remove the boat, the sailboat continues on the shore so far. Rescue work has not managed to move it. So they probably have to wait until the full moon when the tide is high, and that is September 7. And maybe they will be able to remove it then. So generally, during full moon, the gravitational pull of the moon can create strong tidal ranges, sometimes more than 2 meters. I talked to a man in the harbor who lives on a sailboat, and he told me that the boat that had landed on the shore had been in the harbor for around 3 years without anyone attending to it. He also said that this is what happens when the strong currents and the waves pull together. A lot of the sailboats in the harbor in Fuerteventura come here after crossing the Atlantic Oceans, or they come from Europe with a plan to cross the Atlantic Ocean. So the best time to cross the Atlantic from Fuerteventura is typical between late November and January. During this period, the trade winds are more established. So August 27th, all the tourist boats activities like fishing, snorkeling, etc. were cancelled due to the strong currents, waves and wind. A windsurfer went missing here, and there were helicopters flying back and forth along the coast. And after a period of time, he was found alive, thank God. Surfers complained about the strong currents, and many of them gave up trying to surf. So the situation is getting better, but still not normally. So what is normal? Okay, hope you liked the report. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.
Greece's fertility rate for 2025 is one of the lowest in Europe, highlighting a growing demographic challenge. With fewer births and an aging population, the country faces significant social and economic pressures in the coming decades. This shift has sparked concerns about the sustainability of the workforce and how it will affect Greece's future. Adding weight to these concerns is a new study by the University of Thessaly, which projects a continuous decline in Greece's population for the next 3 decades. This is attributed to the persistently low birth rates, just 1.4 children per woman, and an aging population with nearly 23% of residents now over 65. The report identifies a lack of well-paying jobs, persistent low wages, and a shortage of affordable housing as primary drivers behind this trend, pushing young Greeks toward either emigration or delaying parenthood.
Why has this been happening? Well, first off, for nearly 20 years, Greece has suffered from economic instability. During the 2008 financial crisis and the subsequent years, there was high unemployment, reduced wages, and austerity measures. And young couples tend to delay or forego having children if they don't have assurance of financial security. Second point, the cost of childcare is high relative to the wages in Greece. So if couples do decide to have children, they are restricted by this cost and plan their family accordingly. 3, urbanization and centralization in Athens specifically, and in other bigger cities to a lesser extent. Big cities generally have lower birth rates because of the practical complications and expense of raising large families in confined areas with an unsupportive infrastructure. Now, if close to 40% of your population lives in Athens, there's your biggest problem right there. This is grossly untenable for many reasons. With the population decline, rural areas, think countryside, but especially borders and islands, are hit the hardest. So now population decline also becomes an issue of national security. And without populations on the borders, a number of very obvious and dangerous problems emerge for the country. 4, global social trends. Higher rates in education mean that people get married and start their families later in life, especially when they want to live in urban settings, which takes us back to point 3 about urbanization. Point 5, the brain drain. Greece has seen waves of generational immigration. And since the financial crisis, educated professionals, around 5% of the population, left for other European countries, the US, and other places.
The stark reality of this declining birth rate is already evident in the education sector. Hundreds of schools across Greece, particularly primary schools, are closing this academic year, with many closures becoming permanent in both small villages and major cities like Athens. Consequently, some rural students now face commutes of up to 80 kilometers daily to reach their nearest schools. While Greece still maintains a broad network of primary schools, their numbers are steadily decreasing, though some small schools in rural and island areas with fewer than 20 students continue to operate. Strategic schools in border regions, like Ceramos, reopened in 2025 for just 5 children, a decision the education minister defends as necessary despite high costs.
A total of 721 schools and kindergartens will remain closed this year as student numbers have dropped significantly nationwide. Authorities have noted especially sharp declines in primary schools, prompting strict enforcement of the minimum student rule. If a school falls below 15 students, regulations require its closure for 3 years on a temporary basis, officials confirm. After 3 years, if enrollment does not increase, these institutions face permanent closure, according to the Ministry of Education. Over the past 7 years, more than 150,000 students have been lost from the country's schools, official data reveal. Not confined to rural or island regions, even dozens of Athens schools, including 73 kindergartens, are shut this year.
In an effort to counter this trend, Greece introduced a baby bonus in 2020, now offering up to €3,500, around $4,100, for a 4th child. More recently, the government announced a substantial €1.6 billion, which is almost $1.9 billion, relief package, including tax breaks and financial incentives slated to begin in 2026. This package includes a 2% tax cut for all citizens, with low-income families with 4 children paying no tax at all. However, the University of Thessaly study suggests financial incentives alone may not be sufficient. They're saying the real problems for young families are unstable jobs and low wages. To reverse the population decline, the study recommends improving overall living conditions, including wages, work, and housing for both Greeks and migrants. It also calls for a better migration policy to attract skilled workers, integrate new residents, and encourage young Greeks abroad to return home. Spain has a billion-dollar prostitution industry, but most women in it are actually victims of trafficking. Prostitution itself isn't illegal, but the lack of regulation has created major issues with exploitation and organized crime. This makes it incredibly difficult to protect sex workers, many of whom are migrants from Latin America and Eastern Europe, and to fight against human trafficking. This trend is especially visible in tourist hotspots like Mallorca, where tourism fuels a surge in forced prostitution, especially in summer. According to the local Department of Social Services, the prostitution industry in the Balearic Islands generates around 70 million euros annually. Non-governmental organizations report that demand for sex work doubles during tourist season, often hidden in massage parlors and private apartments. Many victims are undocumented migrants exploited through trafficking, and this increased activity further complicates efforts to control the industry.
It's a complicated issue. We can't just enter a room during a massage, if you know what I mean. We do regular checks to see if the documents are in order. We also try to talk privately with the women. But usually, none of them admit that sexual services are involved.
The local authorities often focus on penalties and public appearance. So you sometimes wonder if it's just about making prostitution less visible. What we really need is to educate young men and women so they can critically engage with the topic.
Thousands of women have been lured to Spain with false promises of jobs, only to be forced into sexual exploitation upon arrival. In February 2025, Spanish police dismantled a human trafficking ring that had exploited more than 1,000 women. Just months later, in July 2025, another operation was uncovered, leading to the rescue of 162 women, most of them from South America. The rescued women shared they faced extreme conditions, often locked in rooms and only allowed outside for 2 hours a day. Without proper permits and any way to escape, they were forced to endure long hours of abuse and exploitation. It's incredibly tough for these women to report their situations. For one, many don't even see themselves as victims and often don't know their rights, especially if they're from countries where women's rights are ignored. Plus, they're often threatened that reporting will lead to deportation and put their families' lives at risk. This threat often keeps them trapped for years until they can pay off huge debts to traffickers.
Una víctima, me acuerdo que declaró que a lo mejor en 4 o 6 meses llegó a generarles a ellos un beneficio de hasta 40.000 euros.
Toma. Vale.
Claro, una persona, hay veces que son, pues eso, a lo mejor en un piso pueden haber 5 o 10 víctimas.
Entonces todo el dinero de la explotación acaba en la organización. A ellas le dan un poco que encima mandan a su país, porque tienen allí a su familia, tienen allí a su hijo. Entonces ellas no tienen nada. y los beneficios para la organización, pues todo.
6.
Por ejemplo, esto, la venta de sábanas, de toallas, que les piden dinero por, digamos que el alquiler de todas estas cosas, al final es un beneficio que obtienen por todo eso.
Even though prostitution in Spain exists in a legal gray area, the law does punish pimping, sexual exploitation, and sex trafficking. However, a 2023 study published in Springer Nature found criminalizing sex work wouldn't stop it. Instead, it would drive it underground, making conditions worse for the women involved, impacting their health and safety. The debate over prostitution laws isn't unique to Spain, as approaches vary widely across Europe. Germany and the Netherlands have legalized and regulated it, aiming to create safer conditions for sex workers with protections like health insurance and pensions. However, critics argue this could attract more human trafficking. Meanwhile, Sweden and France use the Nordic model, decriminalizing sex work, but criminalizing its purchase, penalizing clients. Critics say this pushes the industry underground.
Amino acids play a vital role in maintaining your overall health and well-being. Not enough amino acids and protein daily can result in brain fog, hormone imbalances, digestive issues, cognitive function, lack of energy, lower immunity, decreased muscle strength, and much more. That's why we created our amino acid complex, packed with 21 free-form, easily digestible aminos that skip the breakdown and go straight to work energizing your mind and body. Used by athletes, vegans, and high performers. New Earth's amino acid complex helps your mind and body recover, rebuild, and renew daily. Subscribe now and optimize your life.
Hello, I'm Susan from Sweden.
Wanda Michael from Eastern Uganda, Africa.
Hi, I'm Tim from Vancouver, Canada.
I'm Titeshwar Thamgao from Manipur State, India.
I'm Agumba Obasi from Southeast Nigeria.
Arnaito Chakrini from Western Uganda, Mbarara.
At United Network News, you are the news.
My name's Christina, field messenger, report first one in the hurricane down here in Southern California from Mexico.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. At UNN, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Jason from United Network News. We're going to be doing some aircrete building with new technologies that allow us to live in comfort and also off the grid.
Take the next step in changing the way the world gets the news. Become a UNN field messenger today.
I am Michelle from South Africa, and we are the United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
If it is going to be, then it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Si va a ser así, depende de mí. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN.
UNN Field Messenger Amy sits down with an Italian bistro owner in Parsippany, New Jersey, to explore how the business has changed and adapted over the years.
Hi, Amy reporting for UNN from Parsippany, New Jersey. And today I'm going to interview the owner of Eccola, an Italian bistro here, and find out how business is doing before COVID, after COVID, and the effects of what they're hoping the tariffs will bring. So here I am with Jeff. He purchased the establishment in 2021?
2021, yeah.
So that was right when COVID kind of was over.
It was, yeah. We just started getting back to normal business.
And how long have you been working here prior to that?
Since 98.
1990, that's a long time. So what changes have you seen take place in the restaurant business?
Oh, God, tons. Well, competition definitely. There's a lot more places. So when we first opened here, we were really the only game in town. So now there's a lot more out there, and just the trends of the customer, overall customer timing and things like that. It really one hit. They all go out to every place all at one time. And we used to, start at 4:30. We'd see some people coming in and have a few turns. Right now, it's just
one seating basically, and that's it. What was it like before COVID hit?
It was starting to trend that way. And then COVID just kind of locked that trend in, especially with people staying late. We're out early now. No one
stays.
Yeah.
Even with the bar, I mean, that doesn't get people
Nope.
go there.
Nope.
What changes did you have after COVID? Like, did you have to change either sourcing some of your food? Were there difficulties getting the supply?
During COVID, that was a thing. After COVID, not so much. More pricing issue after COVID. Just trying to
Everything got more expensive.
yeah, trying to navigate through that.
Do you think that's affect the business? Because you've obviously had to raise your prices.
Oh, definitely. And we're to a point where really can't raise prices more, but our expenses keep going up. Our utilities were up 33% year over year from last year. And then New Jersey payroll, just the way they do minimum wages, the minimum for waiters, they get tips, they make plenty in tips, but they keep raising the minimum that we pay the waiters, which, well, now it's over $5, but all my guys get into overtime. When it gets into overtime, they're making almost $13 an hour in overtime.
And then the tips.
And then the tips, yeah.
And when did New Jersey change how you pay that out?
So it's been going up. They had like a 5-year cycle where it went up year after year, or 5-year plan.
So that started before COVID then? That's been going up. Do you still have like the same clientele? Have you seen a new influx of people?
Recently, I haven't seen a ton of new people. I've got my loyal customers that were amazing. Less and less with new customers lately. Being in Parsippany, we have all the hotels and things like that so we used to see a lot in the way of that, but even the hotels driving by, they're not doing the business they were doing. I don't know what it is with the hotels. A lot of people, they were doing more seminars and things like that, trainings and getting employees in the town that I'm not seeing as much.
I was just wondering if the tariffs have affected you yet.
I haven't seen anything with that.
And what are you hoping that the tariffs do for you?
Indirectly, I'm hoping they get more money into Americans' pockets. That's the goal with them. We never know. If there's two sides to it. Some people think no. Some people think yes. They're pushing tax breaks along to Americans. So hopefully they see that and they come out and spend.
So with prices going up, and you can't raise your prices anymore, or the customers aren't going to come, how do you plan to stay in business?
Just hoping things change. Looking for things from the presidential level down. Hopefully what they do with the economy is going to change things and get us back. Because I'm not the only one in this situation. I'm out all the time. I talk to other restaurant owners. We're all kind of in the same situation. So we're just kind of waiting out the storm and hopefully these changes come through and we get back to doing what we do.
Excellent. Thank you again.
Thank you.
So if you're not happy with the costs of what it takes to come out and enjoy a nice meal at a good restaurant, I can assure you after talking to Jeff, the owners aren't happy about those costs either. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Nitrous oxide, better known as laughing gas, has made its way out of dentist offices and into the hands of young people around the world. It's cheap, easy to get, and gives a quick high, which makes it sound harmless. But the reality is, heavy use can cause real health problems, and countries everywhere are starting to take notice. So, why is nitrous oxide so popular? For starters, it's super cheap. A single cartridge only costs a few bucks. It's also really easy to get. You can find it in smoke shops, some convenience stores, and even on Amazon, often sold for whipped cream dispensers or other culinary uses. Because it's something used in hospitals, dental offices, and professional kitchens, a lot of young people assume it's totally safe. Add in the fact that the high only lasts a minute or two, and it feels pretty low risk. But what feels like harmless fun can have some major consequences.
I see a lot of people saying that nitrous oxide kills brain cells. That's true, but it's actually worse than that. It's a neurotoxin, meaning that it'll kill neurons, not just in your brain, but in your spinal cord and in your arms and your legs. And here's how it happens. Nitrous oxide oxidizes the cobalamin ion in vitamin B12, making it useless for your body. And this is a disaster for your body and nerves because B12 is essential for your body to make myelin. Myelin not only insulates nerves, but allows nerve signals to travel quickly and without losing their strength. Without myelin, your body isn't able to transmit nerve signals effectively, leading to muscle weakness and changes in your sensation. But that's not all. Without functional vitamin B12, there's a buildup of homocysteine in your body, and that increases your risk of forming blood clots, which can cause a heart attack, stroke, or pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in your lung.
The risks of nitrous oxide aren't just about repeated use. serious problems can happen even the first time you try it. The gas comes out in canisters, extremely cold, which can cause frostbite, and inhaling it reduces oxygen in your lungs, sometimes leading to blackouts or fainting. Users can also experience dizziness, nausea, headaches, or anxiety, and some even report hallucinations. It's a real concern. Several Reddit threads show young people sharing their struggles and asking for help after trying it. A new study from the University of Mississippi and University of Illinois highlights just how serious nitrous oxide misuse has become in the U.S. Researchers found deaths related to the gas jumped from 23 in 2010 to 153 in 2023. That's a 578% increase. The rise is linked to easy access, including online sales to these flavored canisters sold under the brand name Galaxy Gas, promoted through viral videos to young people.
Thanks to the skyrocketing demand for the brand it generated from the viral trend, smoke shops across the nation stocked up and sold out of it on a weekly basis. It was the #1 product at tons of these stores, the Amore Brothers shops included, and knockoffs of the brand also started to spawn everywhere. Concerningly, a lot of these stores noted high schoolers and even kids as young as 14 years old attempting to purchase it. And nationally, more than 25 million people over the age of 12 may have tried nitrous oxide. Even worse, data has shown that adolescents aged 12 through 17 more commonly use whippets than those 18 and older. Emergency room visits across the US related to nitrous oxide misuse skyrocketed, some experiencing 5 to 10-fold increases. Many horrific hospital cases involving kids as young as 19 years old started to go viral, and deaths spiked to alarmingly high numbers. And nobody took these cases lightly.
And that includes governments around the world. In the UK, possession of nitrous oxide for recreational use became a criminal offense in 2023. France has banned sales to minors and restricted use in bars, nightclubs, and festivals, while Belgium, the Netherlands, and Denmark are tightening rules after rises in traffic incidents. In New South Wales, Australia, sales to under 18-year-olds are being restricted, along with limits on canisters. In the U.S., there's no nationwide ban, but some states and local governments are restricting sales to minors, and the Food and Drug Administration has issued warnings about recreational use. While governments are acting, families and communities can play a big role too. Open, non-judgmental conversations with young people about the risks, staying aware of online or store sales, and sharing real stories about the dangers can all help. Education, awareness, and early conversations are key to helping young people make safer choices.
Bulgaria's mysterious stone forest is a sandy desert filled with tall stone pillars that look like a petrified forest. UNN Field Messenger Monica takes us to this one-of-a-kind destination.
Hi, Monica here, Field Messenger, reporting from Bulgaria for United Network News. Varna is a beautiful city located on Bulgaria's Black Sea coast. It is Bulgaria's maritime capital and the third largest city in the country. And it is here, near Varna, where there's a place that will put our imagination to the test. A mysterious group of standing stone formations that look like a petrified forest. The stone forest is better known as Pobti Kamani. Its Bulgarian name translates to stone bitten into the ground. This actually describes the place's appearance perfectly. Hundreds of hollow stone pillars stuck vertically in a sandy, desert-like area. At first glance, it looked like the ruins of an ancient temple, but these broken stone pillars are all natural. Over the years, many legends have been told about this place. One of the most popular legends says those stones were once mighty warriors. Long ago, a fierce battle was fought here between two tribes, each determined to claim victory. When the battle ended, the victors turned their backs on the sacred laws of war, betraying their fallen enemies. The gods, furious with the warriors, punished them by turning them into stone, forcing them to stand as silent witnesses to their own misdeeds. Geologists from around the world have traveled to Bulgaria to unravel the mystery of the stone forest. So far, there are 15 official theories about the origin of these stone pillars. The newest hypothesis says that these structures are formed around natural methane gas seeps. The specific mechanism involves bubbling rifts, which are areas where methane-rich fluids rise and precipitate carbonates, forming the stone structures. It's a unique place to visit. The stone forest is the only place in Bulgaria where the archaeologists found evidence of human life in the Mesolithic times. The only other similar formations known on the planet are in Shark Bay and Numbang National Park in Australia. Visitors to the stone forest often report experiencing a sense of positive energy and a powerful connection with the environment, particularly when walking barefoot on the rocks. I hope you enjoyed my story about this novel landscape, a geological phenomenon that remains an enigma to this day, can be admired here, and spectacular photos can be taken. Thank you for watching. Bye.
At UNN, you are the news. Get involved by joining our weekly Field Messenger meetings. Visit unitednetwork.earth to learn more. Remember, if it's going to be, it's up to me.